guys, we got this. Let's go. Good and wide trip sweep. Pros X go. On one. Ready?
Right.
What's going on, everyone? ANCAP24 here from HuddleGG. In today's video, we're going to give you 5 different ways to get free releases and not get pressed by the cornerback. Now, if this is the first time checking out our channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Also hit that bell notification to make sure you never miss any of our uploads. Now, the reason why I want to do this video is because there's a new meta in Madden Ultimate Team in which there's an ability that people are using and putting on multiple cornerbacks in order to really make life tough for the offense. And that ability is called bench press. It can be found in regs. I'm pretty sure in CFM as you progress your players, you'll probably get more of this. But for right now, it's more of a headache in MUT because of the way that it can be on multiple players. In regs, it is on Jalen Ramsey. So this is an opportunity that if you are playing the Rams or want to use the Rams, you can use this to your advantage. But what it is basically when you get a successful press on the receiver, you're going to deplete their stamina. It's going to make the route running less effective. It's going to allow for the speed to not be at full speed. And it basically makes them have to take off a couple plays because they're going to be in red after the play. Now, the reason why this is an issue is because there are several abilities. I mean, there's an opportunity to put several of these on the field because there's only one ability point per player. Now, I do feel like this is going to get tweaked. I feel like there's going to be an adjustment where they're either going to raise the ability points to where you can't put multiple players on there without maxing out your defense, or it's going to be something that maybe they'll do it to where instead of just after one press, maybe it's after 2 or 3 successful presses that you go ahead and get your stamina depleted. But either or, the state of the game today, it's an overpowered tactic that people are using, and we're going to make sure that we can teach you how to kind of beat the players that are pressing you, okay? So 5 ways. First way is very simple, but it's kind of a build-up, and I want to make sure that for everybody in watching these videos, some of them are going to be simple and some of them are going to be more advanced, but there's going to be opportunity to kind of combine them for everybody. Okay, first thing is a motioned route, particularly a motion slant. You put this B on a motion to the opposite side of the formation, so it goes across the formation. The player is going to go after him. You hike the ball before he stops. He's going to make a cut inside. And because of the DB being in motion, he's never going to be able to get hands on him. It's an easy catch, right? It's great. It works great. It is an isolation one, which basically means that the other 3 players or other 2 players that are running routes are going to get bench pressed if they have multiple. So although it's great if you're going against just one player with bench press, if you have multiple, we're going to want to use some of these other strategies to help you out, okay? So the number 2 one is actually very similar, but it's actually auto motion. Now what auto motion does, it actually beats man very well this year, so not even just press, but auto motion gives you an inside leverage to where before the patch, you were able to do short motion, right? Now against man coverage, you're unable to do short motion from the outside receivers unless you do auto motion. And that's what auto motion does. It's this blue motion that once you hike the ball, the player will now go into motion without me moving him, and it's going to auto hike the ball for you. He's going to get inside position, and a lot of times because of that, he's got to go through it. You can see how we can get a lot of yards off of auto motion. It's great, right? So that's just number 2, a simple one, but again, something that you can use to your advantage to beat just any man or man press, okay? Number 3 is going to be more of a tip on formations and personnel. Now, with the way that people press, you cannot press tight ends that are on the line of scrimmage next to a tackle. So what I'm going to show you is this wing tight Z. I'll pick tight end attack, okay? Now I'm going to press these guys. And what you're going to notice is that the X and the A are both on the line of scrimmage next to the tackle. And with that in mind, they're not going to get pressed. Now this RB, that's a wing player, he can get pressed by a linebacker, but not a nickel corner. So if people are using multiple bench press, they're going to be using them on their corners. So this would work as well. But I just want to make sure that you understand that that is something that can be pressed, but most of the time it won't be by a nickel corner, so you should be good to go. And you can see that the X is going to get a free release, the A is going to get a free release, And just having tight ends on the field are going to give you a nice opportunity to make sure that you can use more viable offenses in that situation. Now we can combine a tip from before where we put the B on a slant and we motion him over. And now you're going to be able to have the crisscross action of the A and the B. So the B is going to be able to, get underneath it. Nobody presses him and you're going to be good to go on that. A lot of times you want to make sure that when you're doing those type of motions, send 5 out so the user has to guard the running back or one of these tight ends, so that way the other player is open. If you leave the running back in the block, what's going to end up happening is that the user can be more free and he can take away one of those options, okay? So the next tip we're going to talk about is inside released routes, and in combination with stacked formations, okay? Inside release routes will work on their own. They do have an often ability to have a win chance opportunity against press, but they don't always win against press. And when I'm talking about inside release, it's the ones that are basically, they start less than a 45-degree angle. They go to the inside, like a C route, or like, I'll show you an example out of the stack that I'm gonna show you here. Something like this, see how this corner strike has inside released routes. The Salem pivot has an inside release route. And then if you look at, play, say levels. Now this levels is the one I'm going to show you. And this is just a one-step inside release route. But what's really nice about this is that stacked formations are designed to beat man press. They're basically giving you a shield, and that's why you would do it normally in the NFL and also in Madden, is that you want to make sure that one of these guys, the guy behind him, is not going to be able to get pressed because he's using the other player as a pick, right? So you can see that the outside corner is covering him. If we use this in our advantage, what you can see is that the X is going to go inside, and then you're going to be able to have a really nice opportunity to do it, right? Those guys will not press. So any stack formation, I'll show you the next one. I'll do gun wing stack, which is a 2 tight end formation. And this is going to kind of combine 2 different things here, right? What this is going to combine is the ability to have a tight end on the field that's in line, which is going to be nice. It's the gun wing stack. And then it's going to have this inside release by the X receiver, which is not going to get pressed. The A, which is the tight end I was talking about, he's not going to get pressed. And then more importantly, this outside B, now that he's in a wing position, when you have 2 tight ends to one side of the formation, what ends up happening is the outside corner is going to guard him, but he's not going to guard them from this position in which they can press him from. So this is going to be a nice opportunity to use that. So this play is going to have 3 players all be able to get open against man coverage, all not being pressed. Now the Y typically doesn't get pressed as well because they try to switch off their players in man when it comes to this alignment. And what you're going to see when we go through all this is that we're going to have this player open, right? That's the easy one. And then I'm going to show you the other routes, that this is a type of formation that you really want to go to when it comes to these type players, because you've got the stacked alignment with the inside release. 18 doesn't, because you can see that these guys, he basically gets off the line of scrimmage, but his route is really not one that we care about throwing to, but we care about him not getting depleted. That's the big thing, right? So if he doesn't get bench pressed on this, then we can get him on the next play. You're going to see that this route right here by the tight end is a really nice route that will go up the field and cut across the field. And, you can see he getting pressed. Now this tight end route is really unique because it's an outside release. It does not get pressed by Ramsey, who's the bench press guy. And then he does a sharp cut that if you low ball past this to the outside and shield your cornerback, you're going to be able to catch that as well. The longer you wait on that, the more the cornerback's going to play it. You got to really throw it on the break and low, right? So this play has a lot of different things that's going for it, and a lot of it has to do with formation and alignment. Now, the last tip is really going to be something that I'm going to give you an example, and you're going to have to go into your playbook and look for other examples for yourself. And what it basically is it gives you the opportunity to formation shift and get your DBs to align in a wider position. The one I'm going to show you here in this playbook, like this is the Buccaneers playbook, is going to be this single back double south. I'm just going to pick a play. It doesn't really matter which play I pick. I'll pick PAY drag wheel, okay? What you're going to see when I press these guys, the first thing you'll notice is that this 80 is above the 80, so that guy can get pressed. You do see that the A can get, there's a tight end. He's not going to get pressed to the inside, but the B is. The Y is not going to because he's getting by a linebacker, right? But I don't want you to look at all that. What I want you to look at is when we go ahead and move the tight end over, this is the tip, these guys are going to widen out. See how they widen out? And this guy's going to get wide out. So what you're going to see is that they're going to play everything from an outside leverage position. So when I don't want to get pressed, the only player that can possibly get pressed on this is the B receiver, right? So I want to make sure you see that we can go ahead and do this to where we're going to have the ability to run our routes from an inside position and make sure that you're not going to have any issues with your guys getting fatigued. So if you go through your playbook and see what motions can I do to widen out the players, you're going to have good success. So what we're going to do here is I'm just going to put the RB on something to the left just to make sure that that was where the user would have to go. And then you're going to see that the X has an opportunity to get inside leverage, the Y has an inside opportunity. All three of these guys on all these levels concepts could get open depending on what we're throwing, right? So what you're seeing is it's not more, I want to make sure you understand, it's not about the routes in this formation, because this formation isn't that great, I'll be honest. It's about the tip of how to get players to widen out and play you from a more advantageous positioning when it comes to running your players. It may be a different formation for you, but if you take a motion and move them over, now maybe there's a route that just works better against man coverage. I can do something like this to where, let's do flanker spot, right? See how this X route is a nice route where there's no way that anybody's going to be able to guard that route on a bang bang play. See how he's inside leverage right here. I throw this ball underneath. Obviously, I didn't put my running back on a route where that 51 wouldn't have been there, but I'll show you here. Let's put the guy on a route here, and let's put him to the right, so that way he goes that way. And all I want to show you basically is the fact that if you know how people are going to react when it comes to, doing it, this X can't get covered over the middle, right? Even though it's only a few yards, if you're third and short, that's the play you're going to because of the way you know that you've got the ability to get the inside leverage. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit in this video when it comes to, different tactics to, just free up your players from this new bench press meta, and go look into your playbooks that you're using and see what type of formation shifts you can do today in order to get favorable advantage. We'll catch you on tomorrow's video. If you like this, hit that like button, hit the subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks, guys.